Thinking of hosting your wedding in the Cancun area? Not sure what it is or where it is? Let's talk about it and I can explain to you in better information. Hi, I'm Jack with Vacationies. Do me a favor, subscribe to my videos. So a lot of people talk about Riviera Maya, Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum. They name all these places, but as we start planning a wedding, it's evident that people don't know where it is. So I want to go over kind of the geography and some of the benefits of these places for you. So you're going to fly into, or your guests are going to fly into, the Cancun International Airport. So that airport code is CUN, very important. Now when you're at the airport, you come out on a main highway and you have to decide, not you, but the transfer company has to decide going left or right. So let's talk about going left, which in my mind is north. So as you come out of the airport, the first area that most people are familiar with, which is maybe a 15-minute to 40-minute ride, depending upon where you are, is an area called the hotel zone. So the hotel zone is the original area in Cancun. It's the spring break area that people know. It is 22 miles of beautiful white sand beach, turquoise waters that has hotel after hotel after hotel. Now, what I see is the majority of hotels tend to be high rises. So some could be 20 or 30 stories high, some could be 10, but there are several that are just old because these are the original hotels in Cancun. So if you want activity, the Cancun Hotel Zone is a great location. Why? Because you and your guests can come right out of the front or back of your hotel and walk along the main street there, and you have all the luxury shopping malls, the flea markets, there's a lagoon, so if you want to do water sports activities, you can do that. You have other restaurants if you're leaving an all-inclusive and you want to go to another restaurant. And if you want to party, that's where all the clubs are. Cocobongo, The Office, all those clubs are in the hotel zone. So some people like that, some people don't. For me, the issue is that you really have to work with your travel planner to understand which hotel you're looking at and what's next to those hotels. Because one of the problems I have is that you can pick this beautiful, beautiful hotel and it's amazing, but right next to it on the beach tends to be a 50-year-old hotel that's a 2-star hotel, and the people next to it are playing loud music and your wedding's going to be on the beach and they're rude. So I think you really need to look at that for what's your hotel and the one next to it. Now the other thing is on the main beach, you tend, and it's a beautiful beach, but you tend to have the vendors walking up and down the beach. So you need to think about that as you're trying to relax on the beach, as well as what if you want to have your ceremony and a reception on the beach. So that is the hotel zone, and again it is approximately 22 miles, and some of the hotels there are like Secrets Divine, the JW Marriott, the Hyatt Ziva, the Royalton, there's a Dreams there, the Sun Palace, and of course one of my favorite hotels, LeBlanc. So you have many, many options there, and that's the hotel zone. Now let's go north of the hotel zone. So there is a relatively new area. I would say the past 3 to 5 years it's been developed. It's called Costa Mujeres or Playa Mujeres. So some of the hotels up there you may be familiar with is going to be Dreams Playa Mujeres, Secrets Playa Mujeres. There is also the Finest and Excellence, the Grand Palladium, Costa Mujeres. I remember staying in this area at Excellence when you legitimately could walk out from Excellence onto the beach and walk for 20 miles and not see another hotel. So this is a planned development. There's a golf course there. Some other resorts have access to the golf course, such as Dreams and Secrets. Some don't. It's a beautiful area. I would say the time from the airport, depending upon where you are in the area, is between 20 to 40 minutes. The beaches there tend to be beautiful, white sand and turquoise water. Now, a variation on the Costa and Playa Mujeres areas, right across the water there is a very small island. It's called Isla Mujeres. You have to take either a ferry, or some of the resorts have private boats to take you over. There really are only two resorts that I like over there. One is called Zoetree Villa Rolande, which is a 6-star, 36-room, beautiful hotel with amazing food. And until recently, there was a Palace Resort. It was recently sold, so I'm waiting to see what they're going to do with that. But a lot of people will take a day trip over to Isla Mujeres. So now let's pretend we're going back to the airport, and we're going to come out of the airport and make a right. That area people will call Riviera Maya. So you're never going to find Riviera Maya on a map. It's not a name of a city. It is a collective, a bunch of little cities that in my mind is just a marketing term that has now become this gigantic area. So the definition of Riviera Maya is going to be from the airport down south by about 30 miles. So at first you're actually going to have an area called Riviera Cancun, and that is where hotels such as the Royalton and the Moon Palace and the Grand at the Moon Palace are. But pretty much as you go down the coast into this Riviera Maya, there are a bunch of little cities and there are resorts. And what you see with these resorts, they're typically low-rise to mid-rise, 2 to 3 stories to maybe 6 or 7-story buildings, and they may be on a beach all by themselves. So if you're looking for more of a compound type resort that's spread out, that's more private, the Riviera Maya section is the place to do that. So some of the, the resorts you may have heard of there is Generations, Azul Beach, Margaritaville. There's Secrets. There are several Dreams. You have Breathless. So these are all along that coast. And again, sometimes you may have a section of beach that has 2 or 3 hotels on it, or you may be lucky and like the El Dorado Royale, and then the Generations and Nickelodeon, one owner owns all 3 of those hotels, and it's very private because you just have those hotels along 2 miles of beachfront. And again, the difference is that in the Riviera Maya, if you are looking for a white sand beach with turquoise water, the beaches there change mile by mile. So you may be in a city called Puerto Morales, which is in Riviera Maya, and you could be at Dreams Jade and have a beautiful white sand beach, but you could go down 1.5 miles to another resort and see the watercolor has changed. So again, if one of your must-haves is turquoise water and white sand, you really need to talk with your travel professional, because along that coast there's areas that are corally, some are white sand, some are blue sand, some are brown sand, so you really need to work with someone that knows the area. Now let's go all the way down at the end of Riviera Maya. The next area that a lot of people know about is Playa del Carmen. It's a little city. I remember being there 15, 20 years ago. It was maybe 1 block of shops and a couple hotels, no longer. It's almost like a mini Cancun. So these are an area called 5th Avenue, and 5th Avenue probably is 6 to 10 blocks long. There's shops, there's bars, there's restaurants, you name it. There's also the ferry from Playa del Carmen that goes over to Cozumel. So down there, one of my favorite resorts right on the beach there is going to be the Playa Car Palace, which is part of Palace Resorts. There's also the Fives. People will say the Fives is in Playa del Carmen. You cannot walk to the activity. So if you are looking to give your guests the ability to immerse themselves in Mexico and the experience, then I would say look at Playa Car Palace, because it is walking distance. It's right off of 5th Avenue. Now, as you go further south of Playa del Carmen, just to take a step back at Playa del Carmen, that's probably 35 to 45 minutes from the airport, depending upon the traffic. Now, the next area that most people talk about is Tulum. But Tulum is a tourist attraction of ruins, but there's a little town of Tulum, which is kind of the Instagram town, the yoga town, the hip boutique little hotels. You're not going to see a lot of destination weddings there, because most of the hotels there are small. Some of them are 6, 3, 5, 20 rooms. There are no large hotels in downtown Tulum. There are hotels right outside of that area so that you can look at the Dreams Resort. But if you think you're going to walk from Dreams into Tulum, that's not happening. The key with Tulum is that you are probably an hour to an hour and a half from the airport, depending upon which hotel. Now, in and around that area, between Playa del Carmen and Tulum, you have a lot of resorts as well. You have the El Dorado Seaside Suites, you have the Hard Rock, and the Barcelo. So they're kind of in between Playa and Tulum. So again, I really want people to understand, because periodically I'll have someone come to me and say they want Dreams Tulum because it's in Tulum, and it really isn't, but the name is in it. Or they're going to pick a resort and have no idea where these resorts are and the benefits of staying at a specific resort. One of the benefits of staying further south in the Playa del Carmen to Tulum areas, if you perceive your guests are going to be leaving the resort and want to immerse themselves in Mexico and everything that Riviera Maya, Cancun has to offer, cenotes, the adventure parks, going to the ruins, maybe going to Chichen Itza, most of those attractions, excursions, and activities are in the southern area. So they're typically between 45 minutes to an hour south. There's stuff to do in the hotel zone, minimal stuff to do in Playa Mujeres, and some stuff in Riviera Maya. So hopefully this gives you an idea. You have resorts in every one of these areas. You have some amazing resorts in each area, and it really is about what you're looking for, which goes back to my point I've made probably in many of my videos. Make sure you find an experienced travel planner that not only knows how to do destination weddings, but understands the geography of the Cancun area to help you find the perfect resort that'll meet your needs for your destination wedding and blow away the expectations of your guests who are coming for the 4, 5, 6 days to enjoy spending time with you for your wedding. I'm Jack with Vacationies, and hopefully this information is helpful to you so you know more about Cancun and you're ready for your wedding.